What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the game length for the Callisto protocol. This is exciting normally when we get these announcements. We just got a Plague Tale Requiem's kind of official, and it comes from the developer. This comes from the head guy, Glenn Schofield, right, the boss over there. But normally, you like to trim some of the hours from what they say. Whether it's the head of the studio like this case, or even with a Plague Tale Requiem, normally when you hear the length of time for a game, you tend to trim a couple hours from it because they're normally kind of adding a little bit more. However, they say for this game, the Callisto Protocol, it's trending towards 12 to 14 hours, though there are beta paths that will add replay value beyond maxing out weapons and the likes. And he says they come later in the game, but some of them are so freaking cool, and we don't tell you where they are or how many they are, but if you really explore, it may be longer. And then additionally, Schofield is hoping that these beta paths will encourage conversations between players who took different routes to finish. So it's a little, I don't know if they've gone into more detail of this in like different developer kind of Q&A things, and I just don't know. I've never heard of the beta path phrase being used before for the Callisto Protocol. Maybe you guys know what that is more than I do. One interesting thing though, right, is that they say that they'll add replay value beyond maxing out weapons and the like. So the 12 to 14 hours, does that include maxing out your weapons? See, that's the thing. And it's fine, by the way. And I guess part of these discussions too is why I like knowing the length of time, right? Is I think that's important to a lot of people. When you're putting down $60, $70 sometimes for some of these games, right? How long is the game? Is it going to be worth to you, to the individual consumer? Is it worth putting down that money? Now, I believe this is a $60 game. I don't think it's 70, but I could be wrong on that. 12 to 14 hours, look, like 5-10 years ago, that was absolutely the norm. Nowadays, maybe there's some people that want the game to be 100 hours, but also, right, it depends on the genre of game. Obviously, being horror, you can't overstay your welcome with horror. I would argue with a lot of different games, you shouldn't overstay your welcome, but primarily, and in this case with horror, you got to get in, you got to tell your story, you have those scares, and you get out. The longer you drag it on, if you are dragging it on, that would diminish the quality of the game. So I think something like 12 to 14 hours is perfect if that's the length of time. If they're including like maxing out your level in that 12 to 14 hours, and it's more like 10 to 12, or even like maybe 8 to 11 if we go even a little bit lower, right? Obviously that could make a difference to some people when they're debating, getting the game, putting down that money for, are you okay putting down $60 for 8-9 hours of a game? Again, he says it's 12 to 14. He's the head honcho over there. It's a little bit different, I guess, than when we normally hear about it. But again, I think they like to kind of prop it up. And I do like to throw this out. I know I had some comments on the Plague Tale one. I know some people like also take their time and play through games, and they may extend the length, maybe 12 to 14 hours. To some, it may take like 16 to 18. There are definitely those people out there. But generally, like an average, you like to take a couple hours off of that when you're actually playing it, because they kind of inflate those numbers a bit. So let me know what you guys think. Is that worth, the length of time? Is that worth the money for this game? You excited for it? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow or support me anywhere else, all my social media is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.